No one is your friend in the corporate world. Did you hear me? I said, no one is your friend in the corporate world, especially not your boss. Let me take time to tell you about an experience I had with a work colleague some years back. This work colleague befriended me from the time that she came into our department. Of course, I was in human resource management in the talent function. And that year, part of my responsibilities was to clean up the PSL, which we call the preferred supplier list, for recruitment agencies that would work with the organization. And as a good gesture, I opened an invitation to some of my HR colleagues to sit in on some of the in-person presentations that recruitment agencies would make to us as the client. Of course, I did the initial screening, filtering out some of the recruiting agencies that just did not make the cut. And with the final presentations, I invited some of my colleagues to sit in on those meetings. Unbeknownst to me, one of the work colleagues that I invited into these sessions had cozied up with my boss at the time. The kind of person I am, I'm very focused on getting the job done and doing it well. And so for me to be playing politics, I didn't have the time for that. I did not have the time for that. But you see, some people know how to play the game and they play it well. I invited my colleagues. The presentations were kicking off, and there was one agency in particular, very high-profile agency, who I had invited on a Friday afternoon to come and do their presentations. And as the meeting carried on, I happened to notice this work colleague of mine being a little aloof. She started questioning every step of the process that I had followed to get up to that point where we were now interviewing these agencies. Within a split second, the ambiance, the atmosphere in that room changed, and it became nasty. She started undermining me in front of these agencies that were there, in front of other colleagues. She started questioning my competency in what I was doing with this project. So much so that she took over the meeting. For me, I was shocked. I was shocked at the fact that she could be so unprofessional and that she could be so calculating and decisive in her action. Little did I know that this was part of her plot to get me chopped off at the knees. Now, I am going to say this to you very clearly and very boldly. You are not at work to make friends. You are not at work to be liked. If you know why you are going into corporate and what it is you want to achieve, whether you are a seasoned professional, whether you are in your mid-career level, and especially if you are a young student coming out of university into your first corporate job, thinking that you are going to be a trailblazer. Corporate is an animal on its own, and it will show you flames. And so when you go into the corporate world, you need to know what it is you are going in there for and who it is you will align yourself with. Because even if you are not the kind of person who is interested in corporate politics, in making that decision to not participate, you are already participating. You just don't know it. So now, what happened with this colleague? I was stunned, obviously. I was mad as hell. But because I am the professional that I am, I didn't let it show, because I was still in front of these agency representatives who came to do their presentation for us. I handled that meeting with a cool, calm head. I adjourned the meeting. I let these agency representatives know that we will get back to them at a max 2 weeks to give them feedback as to whether or not they were successful. Thankfully, that was the last meeting for the day. So I adjourned the meeting and everybody went their way. That entire weekend, I was now playing in my mind, why would someone do this kind of thing to me? You know, when you're making friends in the corporate world, you trust people. You let your guard down. You don't pay attention to the things that people are saying and doing that are actually telltale signs as to their real motives for wanting to get close to you. People are wicked. People are wicked. Don't ever forget that. And so, by the Monday morning, when I got back to work, I made sure that I arrived before 7 a.m. in the morning because I was ready to address this issue. When my work colleague came in, we were the only two in the office. She went to use the bathroom. I followed her to the bathroom. And when I got to the bathroom, I was not being professional. I addressed the issue head on. She was shocked. But I made her understand that her lack of professionalism, her intent to make me look bad, for me, is sabotage. There is no two ways about it. There is nothing she could say to sugarcoat it. But I also made her understand that that was the first and last time that she was going to do that type of thing to me. So, I decided to take charge of that situation, of my career, my job, and the role that I played in my department. She never tried it again. And this is the lesson that you need to understand. Sabotage, it will come your way at some point or the other. But you have a choice. Don't back down. Don't blow up. Don't let people see you lose your cool. You are there for you. So, my advice is, do you.